There was opportunity for Dave Vanderpool to possibly become the Minnesota head coach last week. He was looked over. They hired someone from Toronto. Dame spoke out. Everyone's kind of speaking out. What are your thoughts on that whole entire process? Obviously, I look at it at two sides. Obviously, there's an issue, but then at the same time, I look at it as, how are you going to tell a billion-dollar owner who they can and can't hire? But I'll let you explain your side, and then we'll pick back up after that.
I think it's a double-edged sword because I'm not mad at the decision they made. I'm mad at how they made it. Everybody, they could have hired a guy who's pink. I don't really care about the race in this particular situation. It's about the process that occurred. You have a coach who's there, a young coach, Saunders. He gets fired. He's 32, 34 years old. You have associate head coach in waiting, and typically, when you fire someone, the associate head coach assumes the head coaching position, and then eventually you open up the role, you open up the search, right? The fact that they fired a guy mid-season, 10 to 14 days before All-Star break, was an interesting decision. But once again, the ownership group, the team, the organization has a right to do whatever they want. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with how they disrespected the person in position to potentially take over in the interim. You don't have to hire him full time, but to not let him coach one game, to fly another coach in
same day,
mid-season,
right?
Yeah, this is the finesse. The finesse was written on the wall because they played in Tampa against the Raptors in a away home game. So they played away. So they probably interviewed Buddy behind the scenes there. Then they traveled back to Minnesota and played the Raptors again. And then the next day, they fired a coach and hired Buddy from the Raptors. And I think people got confused with our anger. My anger isn't at the guy that got hired. Congratulations, kudos to you. Whatever, it is what it is. I just feel like the disrespect that's pointed towards
the
blacks
process
specifically,
right,
is outrageous. Would they have done that to a white man? Who knows, right? I don't know. Maybe they would have, maybe they wouldn't. I haven't seen it. I just have a problem with the process of not allowing the guy who's been working his tail off, who's shown that he's capable of doing things, not get a chance to coach a couple games. I'm gonna hire my boy too. I'm gonna keep it 100. I get in a position to be a GM, I'm hiring who I want to hire. But if there's a person in waiting who has a chance to kind of show what they have to offer to the rest of the world, I'm gonna give them a chance. A couple games.
Out of respect.
Maybe you let him coach to the All-Star break and you just let him know, hey, I got a guy in position that I'm going to hire, but out of respect to you, I'm going to let you coach to the break. But this guy's coming in to take over. But they didn't do that. They didn't communicate to their franchise. Karl Anthony Towns had no idea what was happening. I think it's just malpractice how they handled the situation. It's disrespectful to the organization. It's disrespectful to the man in waiting who's worked his tail off, and it's deserving of it. And then the manipulation that probably went on to where you got a guy who's very, very good at player development. I've been with him for a long time. Dane's been with him for a long time. Knows his X's and O's, understands how to get the best out of players, but probably wasn't trying to step on the head coach's toes and kind of play the role, thinking that all right, I just play my role. I don't want to get in anybody's way, only to get passed up anyway. It's just a disrespectful situation in which it makes me dislike some of the processes that go behind basketball, because when it comes to blacks and African Americans, we don't get the benefit of the doubt ever.
You know what? Those of y'all that know me, that been to pond, y'all know my background. Y'all know, Nah, I can't do this one. I can't do. Shout out to Nike. Shout out to all my coaching friends. A lot of y'all can't speak up, man, because you're in messed up predicaments. I got y'all. Ain't no duck in this one. Ain't no Dorian. Straight Coach Clark shit. Let's go.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Coach Clark from Group82University.com, and right here, we got some real shit. I'm black. I was a college basketball coach. My goal is to be a general manager of an NBA team. I'm gonna break down what CJ McCollum's talking about here. Let me give y'all some of my insight of what I went through too. To become a GM in the NBA, there's only one really way that you can get in through merit, and that is if you start from the bottom. So I'm gonna start from the top of the NBA hierarchy in basketball operations and break down how it works. So you have the general manager who's in charge of all the personnel, draft, and picking a team. You got assistant general manager, and they might be really good at scouting or really good at legal because they might have been an agent, really good with salary cap stuff. Below them, you got director of scouting who is in charge of every scout, both domestic and international. You have what's an advanced scout up under him. The advanced scout is the person that goes and scouts teams 3 or 4 games ahead and sends all the sets back to the coaching staff. I don't even know they exist anymore with all technology. I don't know if you really need them. They try to get all the calls and everything, so that way the coaching staff is always ahead 3, 4, 5 games. The advanced scout up under him is the video coordinator who's in charge of all the tape. Anything you see a guy watching on an iPad or whatever, they're breaking it down. You got the assistant video coordinator, which is self-explanatory. You got the unpaid video intern. The only way that you can become a general manager in an NBA team, if you didn't play in the league or your daddy don't own a team, is you got to start off as one of those unpaid video interns. When I tell you there was no job on the face of the earth that I've ever wanted more than to be an unpaid video intern, I couldn't lie to you if I wanted to. I wanted that job so bad. I wanted to be in the NBA so bad. At that time in my 20s. If God would have brokered a deal with me to cut off 12 to 18 months at the end of my life to get that, I might have considered. I have a natural gift for basketball development and fluidity, and my love for the game stems from a love for my dad, love for my uncle, love for me being the kid that didn't never fit in until I played sports. There's a lot of stuff that feeds into that. And so because of that, I absolutely want to be at the highest level. Michael Jordan's my favorite athlete. I love Shaq. I love Iverson. I love Vince Carter. I wasn't a Kobe fan, but I was a mad Kobe respecter. And anybody that loves the game, you know what that means. It was almost better than being a fan, which is why his death hurts so much. But getting back on topic, I did everything when it came to coaching. I coached at camps. I coached at a Division II school. I coached at Mount Verde Academy under Kevin Sutton for 2 years for free. I coached at VCU for free as a graduate assistant under Shaka Smart. I coached at Jacksonville University, made $22,000 a year. I wrote for ESPN's True Hoop Network. I went to Vegas and worked these combines and was a scout at these combines for pros and for agents. Like I coached AAU with the Indy Hoosiers. Shout out Chris Wilkes. Shout out Paul Scruggs. Shout out Zach Gunn. Shout out Jalen Attaway. Shout out Gary Trent Jr. Shout out Justin Roberts. Shout out TJ Walton, Ethan Merriweather. Love all y'all, man. I did all that because I wanted to be an unpaid video intern. And when I tell you, that business is full of racism and nepotism and sexism, women don't stand a chance in there. He's not a liar. And it's exactly what CJ McCollum is talking about right here. It's exactly what he's talking about. The person he was talking about is David Vanterpool. And David Vanterpool played in the league for a hot second, but he's been an assistant coach for a long time. I met him in 2012 when I was covering the Orlando Summer League, and I had to talk to coaches and all that. And I talked to him. He was super cool dude. He's working for the Oklahoma City Thunder at that time. And this dude's been an assistant. You see how CJ talked about it. He knows the game. You got players that are worth $126 million coming out and vouching for you. That means you know what the hell that you're talking about. I keep looking away and I keep looking down because I know how much that shit hurts. But I've been there. This man's not getting a fair shot. When you think about the best coaches of all time, how many black coaches come to mind? When you think about the worst coaches in the NBA right now, how many black coaches come to mind? Look at the way they treat Doc Rivers and Tyronn Lue. These are 2 dudes who have won championships, and look how they treat Brad Stevens, who has underachieved with the talent that he's had. There is an epidemic going on inside the coaching community where it's a good old boys club and they ain't let nobody else in if you don't look like them. They are sick of the players getting all the attention and making all the money. They can't control that. Because if you're a college basketball coach or you're an NBA basketball coach and you're a white man, you probably come from some money. Because if you're able to do an unpaid internship for an entire season, you're probably going to get a little bit of money coming from somewhere. Mommy or daddy or grandpappy or somebody. And a lot of black people won't have that opportunity. Fortunately for me, I had my parents, but it still was debt. I was doing all that shit on credit card. And if you're a rich white man in this country, you're not used to not getting what you want. And when you work in basketball, you don't get what you want. The players get what they want, especially in the NBA. So the only place that rich white men have control is in the operations department, basketball operations, coaching, agents. We just had the biggest scandal in the history of college basketball. Players were getting paid. Like we didn't fucking know that. Look at everybody who got arrested. It was all the black assistant coaches. That's not a goddamn coincidence. You want this job, nigga? You want to be on my staff? You got to be the bad guy. The bag. B-A-G and B-A-D. Both. You got to be the fall guy. Something goes down, it's on the black dude. I didn't know nothing. Every single head coach said that. Sean Miller got his ass fired. Bruce Pearl got Chuck Person, who played in the NBA, was coming back to his alma mater, Auburn, just to help them win. He done got him locked up. This is what goes on inside of coaching. This is what goes on inside of basketball. It's been 10 years. That industry still ain't changed. It's the closest thing that we got to modern day slavery, Division I college athletics. The white people want to be in control of the niggas. It is what it is. And opportunities like this keep getting passed up both in Division I and in the NBA. There's no reason Ryan Saunders should have had that job with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Only reason he got that shit because his daddy was Flip Saunders, and Flip Saunders passed away. Ryan Saunders did not deserve to be a head coach of an NBA team. And the only reason he got that job is, like I just said, his daddy passed away and because he's white. Because ain't no black dude getting thrown in his 30s as the head coach of an NBA team. It's just not going to happen. Not the first go around. They ain't gonna give you that shot. You got somebody like Matt McCall's whole ass over at UMass. He's a terrible coach. Go look at his pipeline. Go look at how he was able to rise up inside of college basketball because his daddy was roommates in college at the University of Florida with the dude that went on to become the AD, Jeremy Foley, who hired Billy Donovan. So the moment Matt McCall got to campus, he was like the superstar manager. And then that's when they won the national championships with Joe Kim Noah and all them. And he became the director of basketball operations, and boom. He's the next Billy Donovan. He ain't Billy Donovan shit. He's a shitty fucking coach. He needs to be fucking fired. Like a lot of these dudes. I could go on and name names for hours. There are dudes that are coaching Division I college basketball programs that are fucking idiots. I'm talking dumb. You know, the only reason they got the job, because somebody knew somebody. That's all it is. Black dudes get passed up all the time. Qualified white dudes get passed up all the time. It's a good old boys club like nobody's business. Who's gonna change this shit? Which fan base is going to start speaking up? When are fans going to start putting pressure on the owners and the GMs and the athletic directors of these programs to get their shit together, to give the qualified people the opportunities, to give the loyal people the opportunities? When are y'all going to start doing that? Because it's never going to change until y'all say something. There's so much money being made in sports. So much. It's the one place like hip-hop where we can get our just due. And a lot of y'all are too fucking quiet and scared to say some shit. It's y'all industry. I'm out. I ain't got no horse in the race no more. Like I said on my song, Michael Porter, I've been there. I got no horse in the race no more. It's y'all career. It's y'all fanhood. This y'all team. This y'all school. When's this shit gonna change? Y'all let me know. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay true.
Killing like a Michael Porter. Daddy's coming after donuts. Killing like a Michael Porter.
My way, on the motherfucking highway. Been that way since the Hoya said the Kimbe, Von Sway. When a coach and his wife lay. Players starving in they dorm, fuck the NCAA. Houseway, taking money from the state. Then betting on the kids, y'all's a fucking disgrace. Don't worry about me, I ain't got no horses in this race. But you greedy motherfuckers need to let them get paid.
Getting buckets every quarter.
Group82music.com.